For most Kenyans, the push for constitutional reforms began in 1990 with a clamour for multipartyism. But those who have been in the struggle say the events of the early 90s was a culmination of a brewing struggle, a struggle suppressed over time, but one that was ready to explode.
1964, this country has always been run, if you are to describe it, it's always been a government of the rich, by the rich, and for the rich.
The desire to change the constitution began soon after independence in 1964. Within 1 year, the parliamentary system of government, complete with a federal system, had been changed. An overpowering presidential system was slowly evolving, shoving aside those who are believed were opposed to the uncalled for changes to the constitution.
That is precisely what happens. As soon as they came back, Tom Mboya, who was the Minister for Constitutional Affairs, he worked his way up until Manjimbo came to an end.
Architects for change had to contend with a system reluctant to change, but committed to consolidate more political and economic power. The will of the people on constitutional matters did not matter, and those who called for change were branded enemies of the people.
I would have called a referendum for the Lancaster Constitution. But by the time I came back from US, it was already mutilated. There was no Senate, there was no Majibo in it anymore. The presidential power had become draconian. How can you ratify something already mutilated?
And so fast forward to 1990, and the situation was ready to explode. The new avenue to restore political sanity was to call for multipartyism, which had been banned in 1967. The political forces that had taken over from the founding President Jomo Kenyatta was equally resistant to change, and the resolve to retain the status quo was even more stronger.
At first I knew I would be killed. I didn't know I would ever see it, but I thought I would leave record because I've written books, I've written all my sermons are written. I think I will leave a record because my life is lesser than the cost.
For 15 years it was a political game punctuated by hope, despair and false starts. The 2002 change of guard was hoped would finally end the search for a new constitution. With a galaxy of perceived reformers in government, the promise of a new constitution within 100 days was welcome.
I personally did not share in those hopes in 02 because they were focusing on personalities and individuals instead of focusing on institutions. So this country has always needed desperately restructured institutions to act as balances and checks. And this is what is achieved by the new constitution. In 02, we are focusing on personalities and individuals. When you say that there are many reformers in government today, they are scattered all over. I mean, the government is not led. It is not in the hands of reformers.
And true to the fears of skeptics, a new constitution remains an illusion 8 years after the celebration of the NARC victory and the formation of the Grand Coalition government. In a dramatic turn of events, the 2005 referendum, seen as the country's closest attempt to getting a new constitution, became the country's tragic moment, a moment the deadly seed of post-election violence was planted. In taking a second shot at the new constitution, the reform crusaders are scattered. The religious leaders who, together with the likes of Timothy Njoya, joined forces, are reading from different scripts.
Where? No, never. Never, don't insult me. That's an insult. That's an insult to say that which bishop was in it, say Gitari or Kuru and Muge. Any other one don't, maybe later Manasseh and Jega.
It's been a long journey that began almost immediately after independence in 1964. It's a journey inspired by a desire to create a more democratic space, accountable leadership and good governance. But the message here, lest we forget, is a constant reminder that the journey has not been easy and is far from over. Emmanuel Talam, KTN, Nairobi.